A University Library Network training video. University Life and Copyrights. Copyrights from the standpoint of the library are explained in 4 videos. This video is titled, Your Life and Copyrights, and will explain familiar copyrights and familiar copyrighted works. I believe we are all familiar with the word copyright. There is an endless number of copyrighted works all around you. A copyrighted work is a creatively produced expression of thoughts or sentiments that falls within the literary, academic, artistic, or musical domain. A movie or the contents of an SNS are examples of copyrighted works. Copyrights protect the rights of the authors of different kinds of works. Various rights were created so that copyrighted works can be used without violating the rights of the authors. Rights included in the Copyright Act were created even for the lessons that you are taking right now, or the different types of content that you use every day. The purpose of the Copyright Act is to ensure fair use of copyrighted works and protect the rights of authors. Through this, the Act can also contribute to the further development of culture. The author of a work can be an individual person, a judicial person, or even an organization. Copyrights can be held by the author who actually created the work, or can be transferred to a publisher or surviving family members. There are different types of copyrights. There are the moral rights of the author. These are personal rights that can dictate whether the work can be made available to the public or whether the author is clearly indicated. Next, there are property rights, in which the holder can dictate whether the work can be duplicated, performed, or even transmitted publicly. For example, shared on the internet. Finally, there are neighboring rights in which the holder can dictate whether the work is performed or broadcast. It is important to be careful when using copyrighted works in order not to violate any of these rights. Copyrights are protected for 70 years after the death of the author. Copyrighted works by an organization, cinematographic works, or similar are protected for 70 years after said work is made public. Copyrighted work can be freely used if the term of protection has expired. For example, literary works whose term of protection has expired can be put on the internet, as they have been on the Aozora Bunko Library website. Digital images of documents can be made publicly available on the internet, as they are on the Kyoto University Rare Materials Digital Archive website. So, how are works that are still under their term of protection protected? In principle, you must obtain permission from the copyright holder in order to use a copyrighted work that is within its term of protection. By following this principle, you can copy a work as well as borrow, perform, or quote it. Without permission, you cannot do any of these things. However, if copyrighted works are not much used, this is a negative in terms of developing a culture. There are restrictions on the rights of copyright holders that allow the use of copyrighted works without first obtaining permission. This is limited to exceptional circumstances. There is good news, especially for people who are studying at a university. Copies of literary materials made in a library, works cited in a report, copies made for distribution in a classroom, and works distributed during an online class for educational purposes are all recognized uses that are defined in detail as legal uses that can be done without obtaining prior permission from the copyright holder. However, it is important to refrain from unfairly interfering with an author's profits. This is explained in further detail in a separate video. We highly encourage you to watch it as well. For the last topic in this video, we will introduce the Creative Commons license. A Creative Commons license is a tool for authors to express their intentions by indicating the conditions under which they will allow their works to be used by others. This slide shows a license whereby a creator can adapt and redistribute someone else's work if they give credit to the original author, and it is for non-commercial purposes. There are other types of licenses as well. If you see this mark affixed to a copyrighted work that you would like to use, please visit the Creative Commons website. This concludes our explanation of familiar copyrights. Let's be aware of copyrights and respect copyrighted works.